Hello and welcome to the Super Mario 64 70-star tournament race between Gombill and Mchan338. My name is Ashiarya, and I will be the barely constrained voice bringing you contentious jokes and invaluable information through the next hour. Alright guys, I hope you're ready for some 70-star because I'm rather excited for this one. Alright, so the runners are already off. We already know what Lakitu skip is. We already know what bomb clip is. So let's just see whether they manage to get it or not, which shouldn't be too much of a hassle for these runners, especially having in mind their PBs. They're actually pretty good runners. And off they go. They both managed to get Lakitu skip, which we all at this point know you get by long jumping onto the left banister there, which allows you to basically skip over the Lakitu introduction to the camera. And now bomb clip, in which they're going to be grabbing, throwing, and re-grabbing a bomb in the middle of its exploding animation so that it pushes them into the grate. And both of them get it first try. Always nice to see. And a little routing note, we've been seeing both Womps 9 and Womps 8 in this tournament very often. Both of these runners are going to be using Womps 9. That is, they're going to be doing the first slide star and then going back into the lobby, doing all of the Womps stars, ending Womps with 9 stars, and then we'll do the second slide star and the other 2 stars in the lobby. Both of them managed to get the slide skip no problem. Mchan with a slightly different strategy, jumping onto a different point of the course, takes a couple seconds longer. And as we can see, Gombill already off into Womps, very closely followed by Mchan. These runners' PBs are actually very, very close. Mchan's PB is 59.37 and Gombill's is 53.02. They are barely, what, 5 or 6 minutes apart. So in this tournament setting, that's not a very big difference. Anything could happen in this race. It's going to be a tight one. And let's keep watching them do the usual Womps stars. As we usually mention in Womps is one of 3 or 4 100-coin stars that we do in the entire run. We only do 3 or 4 because obviously 100-coin stars tend to take a long time because you have to get 100 coins. So we only do 3 or 4 of them in the run. The 3 or 4 is because some runners, depending on how strong they are with their TikTok Clock 100, might decide to do TTC 100, and some runners might decide to skip it. The only other 100 coin stars that we do are in, if I am not too mistaken, let me see, I've got my notes all messed up here, so today is your day, guys. If you want to make fun of me in chat, like, go right ahead. I'm unprepared. There we go. Whomp's Fortress, CCN, and Wedge World are the ones that are going to be done and that we're going to see during this race. Audi Yankee, that is indeed quite the difference in PBs, but you also have to realize that when you are comparing PB times, you're comparing their absolute best PBs, like their well-rested, many resets. They're well-rested, many resets. Alright, it seems there was a little mishap. Hopefully that should have fixed it. Chat, can you guys help me out and tell me if I managed to fix my commentary? Perfect. Alright, sorry about that mishap. We shouldn't be having too many problems now. My computer sound card has been having creative issues. And Gombill, going with a strat that I actually haven't seen before, like getting that coin without activating the button, that's going to save them a little bit of time. That's an interesting strat. I've never seen it done before. Gombill decided to go for the cube island coin first before the round island coin, it does not make actually any difference. It's up to runner's preference whether they decide to go for the coin next to the cube island as opposed to the one next to on the circular island. Mchan not quite getting their movement correctly there. That's going to be a little bit of a time loss, but Gombill taking a death, that's going to be a larger time loss. And with how even these runners are with each other and how close their PVs are, Mchan is going to be able to catch up a little on the difference between their and Gombill's PVs. So Gombill is going to have to go fast to make up for that death. And we are going to see Mchan going into the first Bowser fight. Bowser as helpful as always. Gombill deciding here to go for a safer strat that I've seen used in this tournament quite a bit. Instead of trying to get the Bowser in one throw, you just do 2 spins so that it's still slow, you can still aim well, you get him close to the mine, and then when he's close you grab him again and you get him against the mine. How far are we in the tournament? We are still in group stages, which is the first stage. This race is the last race for Mchan and Gombill of the group stages, and they are both 1-1, which means that whoever wins in this race will get to go on to the next stage, and whoever loses will end up staying here and not moving on in the tournament. So they are fighting for their tournament lives right now. Gombill doing this. Oof, Gombill just missing that strat. It involves kicking up this slope in order to get enough speed when you go down, and then triple jumping on top of that little mound. However, Mario has ran instead of jumped onto that thing twice now. Let's see them going for a third time, and manages to get it on the third time. Mchan, in the meantime, has managed to keep their lead and is now going into the slide. Now, both Mchan and Gombill do the sim routing for CCM as well. They are both going to do CCM 18, which means they are going to do the first slide star on its own. Then they are going to bundle the 100 coin star with the penguin race star. That means that when they come out of CCM, they will have 18 stars. The alternative would be to bundle 100 coin with the first slide star and come out of CCM with only 17 stars, not doing the penguin race, and then substitute that star for something else later in the run. Here we see Mchan not necessarily collecting the red coins, but collecting just enough coins to get about 22. Are they going for? Ooh, they are going in with 26, which means they can skip 5 coins total. That's an interesting strategy to give themselves a 5 coin buffer. That means they have to try to miss 5 coins. Otherwise, the star will spawn too far back. And it spawned on the second to last. Alright, so that's good for them. If it spawns on the last or second to last coin, it is close enough to reach it with that long jump that Mchan338 did. Otherwise, if it spawns any further back, they would have had to kick backwards in order to get to the point where they could get that star. Here we see Gombill with 24 coins when entering the slide. That means they can miss exactly 3. Mchan doing my favorite trick in the run. Just instead of running around with the penguin, you just grab it and slide to victory. Oh, wait, no, actually, I am not sure of either of the runners' genders, so in order not to misgender them, I'm just using they. It's to save my butt, basically. Mchan managing to make it into the Welkix will work area. And Mchan managing to get their last star from CCM, so they will now be going on into the next stage, which is not actually a stage. They are going to be... No, yeah, sorry. They are going to be going into Big Boo's Haunt in order to do 2 stars in here. And Gombill following right after, about a 30-second lead, I would say. Now, Gombill, Mchan, I'm sorry, doing what I consider to be one of the stars that makes you think, what were they thinking? And the answer is definitely not casual players, because having in mind that Mchan just missed the movement to get up to that star and they are an accomplished runner, I don't know how the developers expect casual players to just get up there to where the star is. That's very unfortunate. That's actually caused a lead change. If Gombill manages to get their star here, that will be very interesting. And Gombill takes back the lead by a few seconds, about 5 seconds. Both of them collecting the second Big Boo's Haunt star really close to each other, and they are now going to proceed down to the basement. Mchan just missing that jump. This is alright so far. They are not excessively far into the run. There is plenty of time for either of them to catch up to the other and get back their lead. However, they will have to be playing top of the game if they want to win this race to stay in the tournament. Gombill catching Mips, as everyone who has watched a race commentated by me knows. Mips is the name of the rabbit, and the rabbit is actually named after the type of processor inside the N64. It was a big technological advancement at the time. So here we are going to see that Gombill goes into Lethal Avalanche first. Let's see if Mchan does the same, or if Mchan goes into SSL. Yep, Mchan is going to go into SSL, so we're going to see a little divergence. We will be able to see who is backing the lead. when they meet up after finishing SSL and LLL, respectively. And that is to say, when they start H and C, we will be able to see who's taking the lead. I can assure you guys I didn't die. My computer is being facetious. Oh, that's good to know that my mic was working. Thanks for these heads ups, guys. I really appreciate them. Alright, so both of them working their way very efficiently through these two rather complicated stages, especially shifting Sandland. SSL has not a very good reputation between runners. It's killed a lot of runs, it just has. Complicated movement and very high stakes. Like this, the big problem with SSL is that small mistakes cost you a death. And like, it takes nothing to get caught in a sand pit or get caught against the pyramid and sink to your death, basically. It's basically missing a one-frame jump. So it's good to see that Mchan has gotten through their stars very efficiently. They are now going to be going into LLL to join Gombill, and Gombill is just about to leave LLL and do exactly what Mchan just did. Gombill going into the volcano right after Mchan, demonstrating for all of us just how useful lava boosts are when you actually know how to play the game. Both of them using a different lava boost in order to get one of them onto the second elevator without having to use the first elevator, and the other one using it to get right all the way up the lava waterfall without needing to do all of the parkour that you need to do to get up there. Gombill going back in for their second volcano start. And that is going to be the last Lethal Lava Land star for Gombill. They are now going to move on to SSL and get through 3 stars that Mchan already got. In the meantime, Mchan using a 1x1 strategy in order to herd these bullies into the lava. Using that dive is very helpful. You will probably see that dive again when we do Chill with the Bully in Snowman's Land. It just tosses the bullies right out the edge. It's very, very satisfying to watch. Gombill using the 4 pillars the exact same way Mchan did earlier. Neither of these runners decided to go for pillarless, which, having in mind that this is a race, is not surprising in the slightest. Pillarless does save about a lot of time, but if you miss it, it loses more time than it ends up saving, so it's a very, very risky strat. And Gombill getting their last star. And they are now going to go into HMC. They have about a 1-star lead on Mchan. That's going to be interesting. They've definitely managed to pick their pace back up. Let's see if we can manage to get time to see how far apart they are from each other. Gombill enters HMC at 2509 after talking to a toad. Gombill narrowly missing buck jump several times in a row. They're going to go for this other triple jump wall jump in order to pull off the Christmas miracle, and they pull it off. Mchan going into HMC about 30 seconds later than Gombill. However, they did not talk to Toad, so the lead that Gombill has on them might be a little bigger than that. And we can see Mchan doing Toxic Maze. Mchan is going to do this star called Navigating the Toxic Maze right here. Gombill, on the other hand, is going to skip it. They are instead going to do Tiny Huge Island red coins later in the run. Wow, I'm never gonna live that down. I'm not responding to that. Gombill doing some interesting movement to get the emergency exit star. And I see I Need a Better Twitch name mentioning that you do TTC 100 over Toxic Maze. That really depends on the preference of the runner. Both Toxic Maze, TTC 100, SSL Secrets, and THI Reds are rather similar in length. It depends to how well you can get them. TTC 100 is really only worth it if you can pull it off in about a minute 5, a minute 10, so I don't blame these runners for running it out and choosing comparably safer runs. Stars, I mean. Alright, Mchan going in for one last star. 2 more, actually. And we have on the chat the links to the runners' channels. Let's take this moment to remind you, if you're liking what you're seeing, go ahead and follow the runners. It's amazing how they're doing all of this. It's amazing the amount of work that they put into it, and they stream. So go to their channels, follow them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Gombill, as you can see, keeping the camera very tight on Mario in order not to render the whirlpool in the middle of the stage. That takes up a massive amount of processing power to render, and so by keeping the camera close to Mario, you can reduce lag. The same thing happens with the Bowser sub, right in this same stage. Mchan narrowly missing that jump to the emergency exit star. They are going to try again. Quick little up warp, and a long jump. Alright, Gombill getting his Bowser Substar at 2935. Let's see when Mchan gets it compared to 2935 in order to see how far apart they are. And Gombill going into Bowser in the Dark World. Very, very well known in this tournament for having this really long cycle at the elevator that you need to make if you want the best cycle, if you want to not have to wait for it. Unfortunately, since Gombill did not get their jump correctly, they will have to wait for it. I need a bit of Twitch main. That is absolute. What Melee Wizard mentioned is absolutely correct. Gombill managed to get Toad before starting on HNC instead of afterwards. Mchan getting downwarped just before touching the star. That's very odd. That's going to cost him a few seconds. Alright, so we can see here that Gombill's lead is in about 2 minutes. So that's going to take quite a few Bowser throws of quite a few missed Bowser throws in order for Mchan to catch up. But they managed to clutch it first time, no problem. And there we go. Gombill is now going to do the Mchan338 star. The Mchan338 star going into the rings, just like Mchan is doing right now. They opted to go and do the Mchan338 star first before bits. Neither of them get duped by their ring hitboxes, so they go in to collect the star at almost the same time. However, Mchan is 1 bits behind, but 1 star ahead. That's very important to remember. Gombill has not done Toxic Mace. They will be doing THI Reds. So even if it looks like Gombill has a large advantage right now over Mchan, you have to remember they are 1 star behind. We have a question in chat about the runner's PBs. Gombill's PB is 5302 and Mchan's PB is 5937. So that's about 6 minutes and 30 seconds, give or take. Mchan doing some lavaless movement here to get through bits. And Gombill showing one of the 300 coin stars they are going to do in this run. In this case, the last star. Mchan missing that Bowser throw. In Bowser in the Fire Sea, the second Bowser fight is the one in which Bowser spins most rapidly, so it is easiest to miss the throws when throwing him. Gombill doing a quick triple jump to get up onto that slope in order to get onto the express slide. Hurry up! Star. Not quite managing to get their movement right, but manages to get their star nonetheless. And Mchan is going to be right on their heels. Gombill with about a 2-star lead right now. And now Gombill showing the other way to get up that ramp, entering the painting at mid-height and jumping on the source kit. Bowser's spinning speed is, if I'm not mistaken, hard-coded into the game. But the reason why I think this, even though I am not completely sure, is because that seems to be the way it happens in Emulator 2, and Emulator does not necessarily simulate lag correctly. So you would probably have to ask someone with more technical knowledge than me about this game. Gombill managing to keep a comfortable 3-star lead and going right into THI in order to get THI Reds, which is the star they are doing instead of Toxic Maze. Mchan not having too much luck with his RNG. Mchan getting electroshocked just as they jumped, making them jump as they were electrocuted. That's interesting, I had not seen that before. Gombill doing some really nice to see movement for this THI Secret Star. And Gombill keeping that 3-star lead relevant. Not quite managing to get the slide they intended in order to build the piranha plants. There we go. Both of them get a star at just about the same time. Alright, Mchan entering THI just as Gombill leaves it. This 3-star lead for Gombill is keeping them at almost exact. This 3-star lead has been really consistent for some time now. Let's see if Gombill manages to keep it through Tall Mountain and through Tippy, or if Mchan will manage to catch back up, because with Tippy left and with TTM left, there are countless deaths that might happen. So we will have to see whether they have to take any of those. Now TTM, very well known for its complicated geometry, its laggy moles, and its invisible walls. Invisible walls are a wall that has not been correctly programmed into the game, and that is absolutely not visible when you look at it. However, it might stop you in the middle of a jump, it might throw you into a pit and get you to die. On these stages that open up into a chasm, invisible walls are never your friend. Right, as they do these rather straightforward stars, let me remind you that Speed Gaming has a YouTube channel. If you look for Speed Gaming on YouTube, you will be able to find it no problem. And if you are missing any of your if you missed any races, if you're missing any of your fix of Super Mario 64 or of any of the other tournaments we have running, all of the races are uploaded to that channel within 2 or 3 days of the race happening, so you will be able to catch all of the races that you missed right there on the Speed Gaming YouTube channel. Gombill taking a moment to align themselves with the box in order to do the box jump. And here we see Mchan opting for a different strategy that what Gombill has been using. Gombill was flipping through the wall of the mountain, as we have seen, and upwarping from the water behind the wall of the mountain to the water higher up on the mountain itself. Mchan instead is using the breeze in order to get carried up there. It's a small time save it's a small time save to do the upwarp, and it has a risk of maybe dying, but since the route that Mchan has taken is easier, I don't blame them for is not only easier but safer. I don't blame them for doing so. Gombill doing some of my favorite movement in the game in order to get up to the snowman's head star. Gombill using the shell to get these red coins. This is a substantially harder star in the 120 star category, because the 120 star category bundles the 100 coin star in SL with the red coin stars, so you have to be keeping a really close count of the coins that you have missed and of the coins that you get at each point of the shell trip. It's rather intense. It's also not a short star to do, SL 100. The very, very satisfying ice bully kill from Gombill, and Mchan getting their last star on TTM and moving right on to SL. Just as Gombill leaves it, this is starting to become a trend. Now, the difference between them has grown to 5 stars. Mchan is going to have to be really good and hope that Gombill takes a few deaths here in Dippy in order to be able to even think of being able of making up for that. Mchan, there we go, getting their wall kicks right, and gets the star. Gombill going for the red coin star right away. It's a nice safe star. Definitely something to warm you up in order to take on the rest of Rainbow Ride. Gombill manages to get the cruiser star without a hitch. And moves on to tricky triangles. Once again, I do not know why the developers were making the timer as short as it is for a casual audience. Bugs can't hide, you're right, this is a very close race. Their PBs are only about 6 minutes apart. And 6 minutes apart in this category just means that you just had a bad PB day. Gombill doing the triple jump on the flamethrower from the opposite angle. Very interesting. I'm sure it saves some very precious seconds from going from the other side and setting up. And Gombill going right in clock. Let's see how many of these stars they decide to do with time stopped and how many they decide to do with time moving. Now, TikTok clock is a lot of runners' favorite stage because it always ends up having very, very good movement. Mchan missing the platform they were aiming for and is going to have to redo that maze. Actually, it looks like they're going through the maze as a backup and using the red coins in order to get the star for the red coins instead of the star that they were gunning for initially. Gombill still choosing to do tick-tock clock with time stopped. Not a reversible choice. $5.5 star lead now for Gombill. And unfortunately, Mchan not quite getting their setup, so they are going to go into plan B. Because I doubt Lakitu bounce was plan A in the minds of the developers. Gombill still waiting for time to stop. Very smart, very rather safe choice in terms of routing. Mchan just kind of missing the platformer there. They're getting a little tilted, and that's not going to help with their nerves. And while they do these last few stars, in Gombill's case, their last 2 ones, let me remind you, Speed Gaming is doing a ton of different events in December. They are showcasing a lot of different games with tournaments, any percent, Mega Man All Stages, Super Mario Odyssey, basically any game you can think of. They are hosting it, and they are doing tournaments and speedruns of it. So if you like watching speedruns, especially if you like watching races, these channels are the place for you. You can find the schedule right on the links that Nightbot just posted. And Mchan getting their last Rainbow Right star just as Gombill gets their last tick-tock clock star and thus their last star overall. That means that they are going to go right into Bowser in the Sky, right into Bits, and let's see how fast they manage to finish the game. Sadly, this is not on PB pace anymore. Gombill's PB ended about 30 seconds ago. I'm also showing us some really nice momentum bits. Let's hope they manage to keep that. Oof. That's going to be the commentary scores right there. They do not quite manage to make it to the next platform and are going to have to redo that next area. Mchan following suit with that get a hand start. but they still have 4 more stars to go before they can go into Bowser in the Sky. And just as Gombill manages to get into the Bowser fight and face him down. Now remember, it takes 3 throws to actually get Bowser to die in this one, not just the one that it takes in the other 2 stages. Gombill goes for the first throw and manages it. Goes for the second throw and barely misses it. That's going to cost them a little time, but with the kind of lead they have right now, it's not something that Mchan is going to be able to make up at this point. Gets their second throw. Going right into the third one, a little far from the bomb, so they did not quite get the distance they needed there. But this one is a lot closer. And right dead in the center. So let's watch them get their star. And Gombill finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 56 minutes and 4 seconds. Get your GGs in the chat, guys. Let's see what these runners have to say after this race. And finish their last stars, their last 3 stars of their run.
Hey.
Hey, Gombill, GG, how are you feeling?
Mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings. Would you care to explain?
Well, I was pretty proud of how I recovered after those early mistakes. I actually played pretty well for most of the run and avoided tilting too hard. I made a lot of mistakes in the last 2 or 3 stages, though.
Mm-hmm. You did have, you did have a few missed platforms and missed time jumps there, but at that point you had quite a large lead over Mchan, so...
Yeah, I wasn't sure how big my lead was. I know I think he has a 57 as a PB, so I knew I was cutting it close if I made too many more mistakes.
Their PB his PB on speedrun.com is 59:37. I don't know if it's been changed since the last time he updated it. However, by the time you got to upstairs, you had about a 2-3 star lead.
2 or 3 stars is something easy to make up, though, just with a few mistakes.
Yeah, that's right. But by the time you ended, it was about... by the time you got to Tippy, it was more like 5.5 stars. So,
yeah, I wasn't watching a stream, or else I would have felt a little more safe, but I wanted to just concentrate on my run.
That's a fair point. I know plenty of runners who just minimize their chat as soon as they go like halfway through upstairs if they're having a good run in order not to get distracted. All right, so what would you say would be your highest point of this race?
The highest point? I felt pretty good coming out of Snowman's Land. I had done several stages in a row, almost beating my best segments, and I felt like I was playing pretty well. In Wet Dry Worlds, I lost a lot of time, but it was only due to RNG. So I felt like I was playing well. It was like I didn't count that as losing time, really.
That's very fair.
And then after that, I started making some mistakes, but I felt like coming out of Snowman's Land, I felt quite confident.
That's good to hear. Well, I mean, you are, if I'm not mistaken, your PB is 53:02. You finished.
Yeah, I got a 52:57 off camera. It was not recorded, but 53:02 is my best that's on camera.
See, well, I mean, you ended 3 minutes from your PB on a race setting. That's pretty impressive.
I tend to be pretty consistent for the most part. Like the strategies I do, I chose them because they're not difficult to execute for the most part. Like I don't do some of the harder things like the Lakitu jump in Rainbow Ride, and
Lack to bounce, Owless. I saw that both of you decided to skip Owless. And
yeah,
Owless
I
as
go
well.
more for consistency, so it's not surprising that I got close to my PB.
That's a very fair strat. Well, Mchan is about to finish. They are in the middle of their second Bowser throw. They're getting all of their Bowser throws so far. And got a Bowser dance right there. And their third Bowser throw, so they will be collecting their final Power Star shortly. Is there anything you want to say to Mchan? They will probably come on, so you'll probably be able to say it to them yourself, but...
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey Mchan, GG, how are you doing?
Maybe his sound is messing up.
According to Discord, Mchan is muted. They should probably unmute themselves. And Mchan finishes in second place with a time of 1 hour and 26 minutes. GG, 26 seconds, sorry. GG, Mchan, how are you feeling? Alright, hold on, there might be some mishaps with her mic. Everyone on the chat, do you guys want to ask anything to these two runners? And in the meantime, Gombill, with this win, you just managed to clinch a stop on the next stage of the tournament. How are you feeling about that? How are you feeling about the rest of it?
My goal is to win one more match. I think that's possible depending on who I get paired up against, but it's going to be really difficult to beat any of the really top tier players. I also don't know about the format. Do you know if it's going to be single or double elimination?
Let me check that real quick.
I assume it's single, but...
Am I live? Or can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on now.
Yes, Mchan, okay. You are alive. Welcome back. It is indeed single elimination. Alright, well, as I was mentioning, while your mic was still out, GG Mchan. How are you feeling?
I feel pretty okay with this run. Surprisingly I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was going to be. Because usually in marathon runs like these, I get pretty nervous very easily. But I started calming down once I got past Cool Mountain 100 coins, and then I just made some really weird mistakes past that point. But yeah, I'm surprised I got Deathless Run. Like, especially like there were a few instances where I should have died, but I managed to save myself.
Yeah, that's true. Mchan, I'm not quite sure if the PB I have for you is quite updated. I have a 5937. Do you have anything lower than that?
Yes, that's my PB right now.
Alright, so, I mean, you finished within a minute of your PB. That's really impressive for a tournament run like this.
Yeah. My current PB lost 30 seconds in TikTok clock and 15 seconds early game, so it can easily be beaten. But well,
I mean, there's always time saves.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really have any plans on improving it. Not because I think I'm actually out of the tournament now that this is over, right?
Unfortunately, yes. Flair lost all 3 of her matches, and the other person in your group, Super Viper, managed to win all of his matches.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it was between the two of you.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with 70-star for the time being, because my goal was to get sub 1, and I did get it before the tournament started, and so I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with how I played throughout the tournament.
All right. Well, that's very good to hear, and that's good to hear that you were leaving the tournament on such a positive note. Then.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
What was that?
So you weren't watching my stream, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Do you think it would have made you nervous if you knew that you were actually ahead of me at the 30-star point, or at least like we were very close? I made a lot of mistakes early.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I would have been. Yeah, I would have been a little bit more nervous if I did know that we were really close that early on.
Yeah, I had a death in the Dark Worlds right after collecting the 8th coin.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, and I failed the sky jump in Bob-omb 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a tight race for a long time.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I wouldn't really know how I would react to that when if I knew that you made those mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess since I'm out of the tournaments, I want to give a shout out to I want to thank all the organizers who organized this tournament for helping organizing this tournament and letting myself and all the current participants for letting us participate in this tournament. It was a lot of fun.
I'd like to second that. You guys do a great job.
Yeah. And
also absolutely.
shout outs to Siglemic. He was an inspiration when I started running this game back in 2015.
That's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Well, GG, congratulations on at least getting a certain amount of far into the tournament, and I hope you have a lot of fun in the next game you decide to speedrun. Are you going to be speedrunning a different category in SM64, or are you going to switch games?
I plan to improve my 120-star PB because I've learned newer strats for 120-star, so I know it can be beaten soon. But it's really hard to find the motivation to do it because it's a long category.
What's your current PB?
To 1445 using an old route.
Okay. Yeah, based on your 70-star time, I have kind of a rough calculator. If you practice 120 as much as 70, you should be able to easily get at least a 210.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. It's just that 120 is a really hard category.
It really is.
Yeah. But anyway, back to your question. If I plan on learning anything new, I am actually currently learning Link's Awakening Deluxe. So I'm really excited.
What got you into that game?
I watched Cransoon. I watched Cransoon's streams of Link's Awakening like several months ago, and it got me really inspired to running the game. But I've never really, at the time, I never found the right motivation to actually do it yet. But recently I found the time to actually start learning strats for it. So I'm really excited to get a run going.
Amazing. Link's Awakening DX was actually what led me to find speed gaming at all. So we can't vouch for that game.
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything else either of you wants to add?
I don't really think so at this point. If I was to give a shout out for speedrunning, I would give my shout outs to Giano. He's the old school 70-star, 120-star. Like, I got started watching him, and I basically watched all of his streams before I even had my N64. And then when I got it, I knew all the strategies right away, and I started with 120 was my first category.
Oh yeah, me too.
They accused me of cheating because they're like, "There's no way this guy's this good."
Wow.
I mean,
nice.
after watching a lot of good players, watching enough good players, you're able to replicate some of the strats that they do, which is pretty much how I think it's a good way to get good really fast. just watch the good runners and replicate some of the things that they do.
Yeah, there's so many strats out there these days, and so many people running the game. You could basically always turn on Twitch, and there will be someone running your game.
Yeah, exactly. I'd also like to give another shout out to King J0444. He's I took a 2-year break from this game, and I came back on January 2017. We both, and when I came back, me and him both grinded the game together. It was grinding our PBs down together. So he inspired me to come back to the game.
Nice. Well, shouts to him. And if that was your guys' parting words, GG to both of you guys. Thank you so much for this race.
Yeah, good race, Gombill.
Thanks.
Gombill, good luck on the next stage of the tournament.
I'll do my best.
And Mchan, we'll see you around in 120.
And good luck to everybody else in the tournament.
Alright, so as this stream is coming to an end, remember guys to follow these runners. They are doing an amazing job. They are showing you an amazing time. A lot of entertainment to be had, and they work really, really hard to get to this kind of performance. So go ahead, give them a follow. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. As we mentioned before, we have a YouTube channel. If you missed any of our races, you can find them uploaded there within 2 or 3 days after the race ends. And let's take a look at what's happening now in speed gaming. Right now on speed gaming, there is the Link to the Past randomizer Seed. They're doing a sortless key sanity entrance randomizer that is brutal. They might still be going on with it even though they started a few hours ago. So if you like Link to the Past, go drop by in speed gaming. They will appreciate it. Right now in speed gaming 4, there's the Mega Man X any % tournament between Drago and Crystal.
You do not want to miss that. The Mega Man X is a really good speed game.
It's been going on for a while. It actually started at the same time at this race. So if you want to catch one of the Mega Man any % races from the start, there is right here, right now on Speed Gaming 3, starting at 4:30 EST, Mega Man X any % between Walrus Prime and Crack Attack. And on Speed Gaming 2, starting at 4:45, we have the Pokemon Crystal Thinko Bingo randomizer tournament between Hercules Bench Press and Snorms. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that race. Thank you to the runners who gave us this amazing spectacle. Thank you to our restreamer Fiesel, who manages speed gaming and just kind of dies so that all of us can have fun. And thanks to you guys, to the audience, who come in, talk and chat, have a good time, and have a good time with us and at us. And my name has been Asharia. And until next time, good luck, have fun.